So the turning point in the history of film libraries really occurs during and right after World War II. And it doesn't really have to do with television. Instead, it has to do with the reissue marketplace. During World War II, the studios began reissuing movies, which they'd done before, but what was new was they were charging the prices of a new film. And so Snow White, produced by the Disney Corporation, released by RKO, is really this watershed moment. A film that's originally released in the late 30s, but in 1944 it's reissued and it's a blockbuster success. It actually makes more money in reissue than Bambi did for Disney in its original release. So all the studios are sort of encouraged by this. They also begin making fewer movies during the 40s. They're cutting back on the number of movies. Movies are playing longer in the different types of houses. So there's even more need for exhibitors to fill their screen with old product because there's not enough new product coming. Now, in those wartime years and up through about 1946, this profit that was coming from the reissues was really gravy for the studios. They were doing good business during that time. But 1947, 1948, 1949, it's a different picture. The industry falls on hard times, attendance goes way down, ticket sales go way down, and at that point, these profits that are coming from reissues aren't gravy. Instead, they're really a vital profit center. And what I found looking at the data from some of these studios, and you can look at it too, is that it made the difference between a profitable and losing year in some cases. So there were at least 1 or 2 years for MGM, as you can see here, where it would have been a loser year without the profits from the reissues. Now, what's also interesting is that this reissue boom does not go without the notice of both critics and labor groups. Film critics generally were really positive about this. Bosley Crowther in the New York Times sort of talked about how great this was for film culture, right? All these films being in circulation again. And I think that makes sense to us. What we might not be as prepared for is that there was a lot of pushback from Hollywood labor groups. So groups like the Screenwriters Guild, Screen Actors Guild, they saw reissues as a threat to their livelihood, that every old movie being put out was one new movie that would never be made at all. So I think, and as you look at this evidence, sort of an interesting question to ask is, what is that relationship between this sort of dynamic film culture that brings back old works, but then also the livelihood of workers in the film industry who depend on new movies being made? And this is also the moment that residuals start to be pushed for. And as television comes, that becomes even more important.